Welcome Girl Scouts, family, and friends. My name is Michelle Harris, the Senior Program Manager of Outdoor Experience and Resident Camp Director at Rock Hill. Today we are going to make a DIY upcycled bird feeder. Here is my example. For this activity today, you're going to need the following supplies. An empty, washed out 2-liter bottle, paintbrushes, a marker, paint color of your choice, and either a X-Acto knife or scissors or hole puncher, and then a string of your choice. If you don't have any of these supplies or you don't have one specific one, that is completely fine. I will walk you through the alternatives on what you can use during this process. So let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you are going to cut off the paper. You can just throw this part away. You don't need it. From there, you are going to take your marker and we're going to lay it down, and you're going to line all the way around the top. So granted, this one kind of already has one, so I'm just going to follow that line. This is going to be your guideline to when you cut. All right, so there's my line. You can see it. What we're going to do now is we are going to cut the top of this bottle off. Now, I'm going to take my X-Acto. I found that this is easier to at least start it so that you have a good hole. Please be careful when cutting. X-Acto knives and scissors are very sharp. We have our two pieces. We're going to leave this one aside. You don't need this one right now. Now we have our bottle, and we're going to make another set of lines. Now we are going to make the little window that we are going to use to cut where the bird feed is going to go. You're going to create a large window, just a square. So now you see I have my square. Now, I found it easier in this step to just use scissors. So I'm going to cut this part out. All right, so this you don't need. Recycle. So now we have our opening. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's right here. All right. So now is the fun part. Painting. All right, so for the painting step, this is going to be super easy. Pick whichever color paint you choose. For this one, I am using just a blue, pretty turquoise blue, and then this light like lavender lilac. Any color will do. Pick whatever your fancy is. And I'm going to start with the body of the bird feeder. I suggest doing 2 coats of paint. You want to do the first coat and then let it dry and then paint it again so that it's nice and opaque. Please do not paint on the inside, just because that's where the bird and the bird feed is going to go. You don't want them to accidentally have it chip off and then the birds eat it. We don't know whether or not this could be toxic for those animals, and we don't want to make them sick. So we're just going to start painting. I like to do nice long streaks. like that, fully painted, and I'm gonna sit it down and let it dry. And now we're gonna start the top. So I like to hold on to the cap and just long strokes towards your cut line. This little bottleneck area, just like that. Now we're gonna let these sit to dry, and then I'm gonna go over them with a second coat of paint, and we'll be back. All right, so now for the next step, we are going to put holes in our bird feeder so that we can hang it. Now, please note with this step, there are a lot of different ways to do it. I found that the easiest way for me to do it was with scissors and to heat the metal up and to poke holes in it. If you do that option, please make sure that you have a parent nearby or a parent helps you with this, because we are dealing with fire and hot objects. Definitely want to make sure that you don't get burned or get hurt. Another way to do this is, at least for all the sections apart from the lid, you can use a hole puncher. Granted, I didn't have a hole puncher at home, so I did it this way. I am just using a candle that I have. I just heat it up and go at it. So I'm just heating up my blade in the fire. Yet again, please have parent assistance with this. I don't want anybody to get hurt. And also please make sure you're not touching the metal. All right, that should be pretty good. All right, now that it's getting hot, just push. And you wanna make sure that the hole is big enough so that you can fit both of your pieces through. This is probably gonna be your biggest hole that you wanna make. All right, I'm gonna heat it back up and go to it again. Go back in. You wanna make sure that your paint is completely dry on this part as well. All right, so just removing the excess little pieces so that it's nice and easy to see. All right, so hopefully you can see that hole. There's my hole for this. Now we're gonna go in and do the holes on the side. Just like that. All right, on to the next step. All right, now that we have cut our holes or punched our holes into our pieces, we're gonna go ahead and connect all of our pieces together. So this is where you're going to have your string. You can use twine, friendship string, whatever you got. I just used leftover paracord from a program that I had that was luckily in my car. So the length of the string doesn't really matter. I just left these long enough so that I can loop it through, and then I'm gonna cut it off at the end. So you're going to take 2 pieces of string and you're gonna put them through, and you're gonna tie a little knot so that it stays hooked on both sides. From there, I'm gonna take the end of one string, and since it's looping out on the inside, this side is then going to loop in to the top of our bird feeder house. You just push it through on both sides. All right, so we have our 2 strings through. Now what I found in this next step is that it's actually easier for me to take the lid off. Give yourself a little bit of slack. Let the strings go through the top of the lid. Like so. And then you push them through the hole in the top of the lid. And then I just tie it back on, tighten it, boom. So we have our pieces. Now the next step is you just pull the string. You want to make sure this is nice and secure so that the lid is on top of your house, like so. Once you're at this point, I suggest knotting it so that it doesn't slide when it's outside. Like so. Cute little knot. Then give yourself some slack, cut it, and then I'm going to tie these together. All right, guys, and there you have it. You have your birdhouse. You can go ahead and put birdseed in it, hang it up outside, and you can watch the birds. Thank you for coming and watching my video and hanging out with me today. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to email us. We'll be glad to answer those questions. Can't wait to see your birdhouses. Bye, guys. Thanks.